Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a very exciting video and a video that I'm just very interested in to see how it goes. I've had this idea in my head for quite a while, but I just haven't been feeling in the mood to film this video. But it has been a while since I've sat down and delved into a high fantasy story, and I think I'm finally in the mood for that again. So this weekend, I'm going to be continuing the Throne of Glass series, but knowing me, I can't do anything casually, basically. So I decided, hey, why don't I make it a 48-hour readathon and see how much of the series I can get through in this 48 hours. If I were starting this series from the beginning in this vlog, I would have more confidence in myself and my ability to like actually finish some books in this 48-hour period, but I'm on the 5th book right now, which is Queen of Shadows, which is like 700 pages almost. So, but I'm just so excited to spend a weekend reading this series. I think it's gonna be such a fun time. I loved Heir of Fire, but it's been a while since I read it, and I looked up a summary of it yesterday, I think, and I was like, okay, now I'm even more excited because I finally like remember everything that happened in that book. Let me just show you the reading plans for this 48-hour period. I am like somewhat confident that I can start and finish Queen of Shadows this weekend. It is like, okay, it's only like 640 pages, so at least it's not 700, but it's a thick one. And I do feel like I could probably get through another book in its entirety if I wasn't gonna do what I'm about to tell you about, because I'm going to actually be tandem reading Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. I've heard of this concept quite a few times, and there's like reading guides for it and whatnot, so I decided that I wanted to give it a try because I've never tandem read any books before, because I don't think I've really had like books that would work for, but it's just such an interesting concept and I just want to see how it goes. Like, this is my first time reading Throne of Glass, so I don't know if it's like the best idea to tandem read it. I was looking at a bunch of like Reddit threads for it and it was a mixed bag of opinions, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try it and see how it goes, and if I'm really not liking it, then I can just like start reading Empire of Storms normally. But I kind of just want to see what it's like, and I can also, you know, maybe give my opinion for those of you who have also not read Throne of Glass yet and want to consider a tandem read. So I thought that could also just be something interesting to throw in here. So yes, I've put like tabs and whatnot in these for when like it switches back and forth. However, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it through both of these, but I would just like to read as much as I can and kind of give you my thoughts along the way. So I'm really excited to try this, but obviously, like I said, I have to finish Queen of Shadows. So the reading plans are rather ambitious, and I don't think I'm gonna go like all out for this 48-hour readathon, just because the last time I did that, I put myself in a major reading slump, and I don't want to do that. I want to have a fun time, want to have a good time this weekend. Also doing some sprints tomorrow morning with Cass, which I'm very excited about. Those are always such a good time. And then tomorrow night, I won't have much time to do any reading because me and Elaine are watching Vampire Diaries, and I was not giving up my Vampire Diaries watch night for this 48-hour readathon. Yes, let's talk specifics. Right now, it is Friday, it's 10:50. I do have class at noon, and I kind of have to go to that. So after this clip, I'm gonna go to class. I have class until 2, and then I'm gonna come back here, eat lunch, and then I'm going to start the readathon at 3 p.m., I think, or 4. I'm thinking 3. I don't know. Again, I will keep you updated on that, and then obviously it will go until Sunday at 3 or 4 or whenever I decide to start my readathon. So I think that's everything that I needed to tell you guys. It's gonna be such a chill weekend. I'm so excited about it. It's also like super cold outside, so it's like perfect reading weather. I was a little concerned because yesterday it was literally 85 degrees, but today the high is 40s, so gotta love that Missouri weather. But again, great reading weather. So I'm gonna go to class, and then around 3 or 4 or whenever I will get into the vlog. So I hope you guys are excited. Yes, let's go. 5 o'clock now and I'm 2 hours into my readathon, and I feel like I've made some good progress and I'm very happy about it. So I am 150 pages into Queen of Shadows now, and I feel like every time I pick up this series, I'm just so excited to be back in this world, and it's just great because I feel like with most series, I try and read them like rather quickly, but with this series, I've kind of been reading it over the course of the year, and it's just kind of nice that I've taken that time in between books, because every time I come back to another one, I'm like, wow, I missed this, I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen next, and yeah, it's been a good time so far. So like I said, I'm 150 pages in. We've been following quite a few different POVs, and I am again not enjoying one of them like at all. I had this problem in Heir of Fire as well. There's just one POV that I could not care less about, and I don't like the main character. A lot of you have told me that it gets better, and I trust you guys on that, but like for now, every time this POV comes up, I'm like, please not again. I do know some certain things about that character and like what happens surrounding them, and I am incredibly excited to see that. I mean, it's unfortunate that I know that, but I feel like Throne of Glass and just any Sarah J Maas series is so hard to avoid spoilers for, so like it's whatever at this point. But it does keep me very intrigued, and I will be paying better attention to their POVs now that I like know these things. So yeah, that's exciting. It definitely took me a little bit to get into the rhythm of this book, just because it has been so long since I've picked up any like high fantasy story, and I like every time I pick up a Throne of Glass book, I'm like, yeah, this is so fun. So I am so excited to read the rest of this, and I feel like this is gonna be a really good pick for a readathon, because every time I pick up these books, I just like have to read all of them very quickly because they're just such a good time. So I am very excited. We're also in the middle of like a little action-y scene going on right now, and that's fun. Always get to see Selena be a badass, maybe too much of a badass. Like she's insane, I swear, but she is an assassin, so like, you know. So yes, there's my current update for Queen of Shadows. I'm having a good time so far, so obviously I'm gonna go read some more of this. I don't know if finishing this book today is an attainable goal, but I'm going to try, because for this one I do have the audiobook. I love when I have the audiobook that I can like read along with as I'm reading the book. It's just such a good time. And it says I only have, I think, 6 hours left if I keep listening to it on the speed that I'm listening to it. So theoretically, I could finish this book at 11 p.m, but you know, factoring in like breaks, maybe like 1 a.m. You know, like I got a lot of sleep yesterday, so I feel like I could stay up pretty late and attempt to finish this book today. So I'm not 100% sure if that is what I'm going to attempt to do, but at the same time, what else am I gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So definitely aiming to finish this today, and then I can get into my tandem read first thing tomorrow. So yeah, I'm just like, I'm so jazzed about reading this series right now, so that's really fun. So I'm thinking I will talk to you guys once I've read like 200 more pages. There's like a part 2 to this book, so I might read this chunk, and then I will let you guys know what's going on. So yes, I will talk to you, I guess that's about at the halfway point, so perfect. See you then. It is quite a bit later. It is 9:15 now, and I have made quite a bit of progress. I have now made it up to part 2, which is page 389, so I am a little bit over halfway through the book, and I still think I'm on track to finish it tonight. I'm not 100% sure though. However, I have really been enjoying these last like 200 or so pages. A character that I really like is finally back in the story, and I really like seeing their specific dynamic with Selena. Like, I just really enjoy their relationship and their dynamic, and I'm excited to see how it evolves and changes over the course of the series, shall we say. Also, a lot of very important moments for our main girly have been happening in this last 200 pages as well, and I'm so happy for her. So yeah, I'm just having a really fun time reading this book. However, somebody needs to get Sarah J Maas a thesaurus so she can find a better word than large to describe men, because she just uses it so frequently. I'm like, yeah, we get it. At one point, I just thought it was really funny. She said that like one of these guys took up half of a sofa, and I was like, that's scary large right there. That might be a little bit too large, and like, it's so funny to me. So yes, there is my update on Queen of Shadows. Honestly, it doesn't even feel like I've been reading for like 6 hours. Like, I've just been having such a fun time with this book, so I'm so excited about that. Also, I had something else I wanted to show you, which, like, you probably thought I was done talking about Halloween related things, but no, friends, I do have something else to show you. Because my roommate brought me this home from work, and it is so freaking cute. Look at this mug. I have to show you because it's like my new favorite thing. Look at Snoopy. Or it's the same thing on the back, but it's like a little cauldron mug, and I'm so excited about it, and I can't wait to bust this out next October. Like, I think I'm going to just put it up and not think about it until then, so it'll be like a special moment when I finally get to use it, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to share because I just think it's so cute. Now I'm going to, I think I'm actually gonna go downstairs and get a little snack, you know, and then I'm going to start reading part 2, which I am so excited about. So let's get into it, and I will update you at some other point in time with a reading update. So yeah. All right, hello everybody and good morning. It is currently Saturday morning at 8:20, and I've been up for like an hour and a half maybe. I just randomly woke up at 6:50. Like, that wasn't the goal, but it happened, and I was like, okay, fine. I had like 100 pages left when I went to sleep last night of Queen of Shadows, so I just finished that up this morning, and I think I'm gonna give this book, it's either a 4 or a 5. I feel like it's teetering on a 5 because I just had such a good time reading this, and I really liked where the story went for all of our POVs. There was this one scene for the POV that I wasn't really into, and I didn't like the character, but there's this one scene that happened, and we're finally starting to see them act like a human, and I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. And I'm really excited about that because every time their POV would come up, I would just like check out mentally, but not like fully. I still knew what was going on, but I was like, please not again. But I am excited that I don't completely hate the person in this POV. So very excited to see how my opinion of them changes over the last few books in the series. Overall, it was just like a really action-packed story, and I love all the characters, and I just thought it was such a good time. There's something really big that kind of happens at the end of this book, and I was so excited to see it. And also seeing all of the POVs like finally come together, and I can finally see why she chose to do all of these POVs. Like, that is the most satisfying moment when you finally see all the POVs come together and make sense. So I really enjoyed that as well, and I'm so excited to see how the rest of this series goes, because the thing I kind of thought was gonna happen at like the end of the series happened now. So I don't know what the last 3 books have in store for me, but let me tell you, I am very intrigued to see what that is. So now it is time to see how much progress I can make in these. I am very intrigued to see how this tandem reading experience is gonna go. I really don't know. I could start it and just like completely hate it. I will keep you updated on how I'm feeling about that and like both books in general. It's gonna be interesting to give updates for this because I'm reading 2 separate books essentially. So we'll see how that goes. It is 8:25 right now. I think I'm gonna go to McDonald's in a bit and get a Diet Coke, obviously. But until then, I am going to start reading these. I do have sprints with Cass in like an hour and a half, so honestly probably won't get much reading done because all we do on sprints is talk and read for like maybe a third of the time, but it'll be fun nonetheless, and I will get at least some reading done during those sprints. So yeah, I'm going to get started on this, and I will give you like a quick update after I'm a few like chapters in for each book and let you know how I'm feeling about it. So I will talk to you guys in a bit. guys, so I just got off of sprints and I had such a fun time. So if you're there, as always, thank you so much for showing up. I love doing sprints with Cash. They're always just such a good time, although she lost her voice really badly. So she sounded so sad, but it was honestly very entertaining, but hope she gets better soon. Anyway, I do have some quick reading updates because I have started both of these books now. I'm up to page 93 of Empire of Storms. I do feel like it's starting a little bit slow, but at the same time, I feel like I'm also not like that far into the book yet. So I'm excited to see what this one has in store for me. I don't have a lot of, oh no, actually I do have one thought. There's this one relationship that I am seeing starting to develop, and I already know what happens because like, how do you avoid spoilers for Sarah J Maas? Like relationships especially, like you can't. Honestly, but I know it happens, and I'm seeing some like beginning vibes here, and I'm so excited about it because I can already tell you I'm obsessed with them, and I'm so excited to see how that little situation goes. So there's that's the single thought that I've had from Empire of Storms. I've also made it 10 pages into Tower of Dawn. I literally read the first chapter and then I had to go back to reading Empire of Storms, but not a lot happened in that first chapter. Obviously, I don't have any thoughts on it because it's only been 10 pages. But I have no thoughts on the tandem read so far because I'm not that far into the tandem read. But I think once I've like done a fair bit of switching back and forth, and then I can kind of give you a feel of how I'm feeling about it. That's kind of where I'm at with these. So I am hoping to make a decent amount of progress with these today. However, it's like noon now, and Elaine is gonna come over at 5 so we can watch Vampire Diaries. So I don't have like too much time really today to do a lot of reading, but I would just like to make some progress in these and see how far I can get. Whether or not I will finish them this weekend is another question. I don't foresee it happening really, but that's not to say that I will not give it my best shot. So there's that. I'm gonna go eat some lunch really quickly, and then I'm going to get back into these. So I will talk to you a bit later with an update on how I'm feeling about these books in my tandem read. So hello everybody. So it is a little bit later, and I'm going to just quickly fill out my bullet journal a little bit while I update you on how my tandem read is going. So I've spent like the last 50 or so pages reading Tower of Dawn, and honestly, I'm so bored. Like, I think it has potential to get better, but the thing is, it's just like following a couple characters that I really do not care about. Like the main character that this book is about, I am decently interested to see what happens to him and like kind of relationships or whatever that he's going to be getting into, but it is somewhat of like a multi-POV. I literally do not care about these other people whatsoever, and every time it switches to a POV of them, I was like, we haven't gotten enough character work for them in the past for me to care about them. So I'm incredibly bored. I do think that the I do think that the concept of Tower of Dawn is interesting, and I think it might explore like some interesting topics and whatnot, but I am very glad that I decided to do this tandem read, because if it were just me and Tower of Dawn, you know, and like no buffer between any of these chapters, like I don't think I could do it, honestly. At this point though, I am only like 80 pages in, so I do think it's gonna get better, but I kind of think it's just because of the relationship that I am fairly certain happens that it's gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? I do think it's a bold choice to just like throw this in here right before the end of the series, and I think there's like a cliffhanger of sorts at the end of Empire of Storms, so I can't even imagine like having all of this information that I wanted to find out about all these other characters and then having to like jump into this, like nah. I would be so upset, but I am kind of liking Empire of Storms. I think, I don't think I'm super far in this one either. I'm 113 pages into Empire of Storms, but again, we've been cutting to some POVs that I do not care about. I was like, I finally have accepted the one POV that I was like, no, I don't want to hear about it. But now I'm excited to hear about that POV. I think it's actually the next chapter is going to be from that POV. But we've just been following this character that was introduced in, or two characters that have been introduced in the last book, and I'm like, meh. However, I do recognize the fact that I'm not that far into either of these books, and we haven't been following the POVs that I want to follow. So I feel like once we fully get into those POVs, then I'm really gonna like them, but it has not started out strong for me. It's not that I'm hating it, I'm just kind of like, I don't care. But I'm sure with a little bit of time, I will be into it. So I thought I would at least keep you updated because I've been taking a lot of like phone breaks, and that's not good because I'm trying to read as much as I can before 5 and it's already 3 and I feel like I haven't read a lot today. But I am liking the tandem read so far. It's just like, it's very interesting and I feel so accomplished every time I switch from like one book to the other because I'm like, oh, got another section down, let's move on to something else. And honestly, it's just kind of nice, you know? But yeah, I thought I would give you just a quick update on my initial thoughts on these books, but putting it out there, manifesting that they're going to get more interesting as I go along. So I'm gonna go maybe downstairs because I've been filming this entire vlog in my room so far, but I thought we could switch up the location a bit, you know, keep it fresh, whatever. And I'm gonna read some more. So what time is it right now? It is like 3 o'clock now, so I do have like 2 hours to read. So let's see how much of both of these books I can get through in the next 2 hours. Hopefully it's more than I've been getting through. Everybody, it is a bit later. I thought I could give you my kind of final update for the night because Elaine's gonna be here soon and I don't really foresee reading like too much more today, so I'm just gonna give you the update that I have. I don't think I've read like too much more in either of these, but you know, it's fine. So I am now up to page 134 in Tower of Dawn. And in Empire of Storms, I'm up to page 144. On the same page. Oh no, 10 off, but this book, honestly, I feel like I don't know, I feel like not a ton has been going on in these first like 140 pages. I'm like, what's that about? You know, I feel like, I don't know. Normally I give fantasy books a little bit to like get going, get into it, get to the fun parts, but I feel like 140 pages is a lot of pages, but I still have high hopes for this book. I'm just gonna, you know, keep a positive attitude, and I feel like once it gets into the good parts, it's gonna get really good. Or at least that's what I'll keep telling myself. There's my update on Empire of Storms. However, I have been enjoying Tower of Dawn, which is kind of interesting. Like, I wasn't expecting that. Like, I still have the same issue with some POVs that I really don't care about, but like the main 2 POVs in this book I'm really enjoying. And there was like this kind of more actiony, not really actiony, but it was like really tense, and I was like, oh, I gotta keep flipping the pages, I gotta see what's about to happen. And I really enjoyed that. It was like in a library, it was dark, it was midnight, it was raining. I was like, the ambiance of this scene is fantastic. Aside from that, I feel like that's all I have to say. One thing I do want to say about like these 2 books together, just like about where I am in this series, I'm really starting to notice tie-ins to like the few stories that were in the Assassin's Blade. And I don't love the Assassin's Blade, but seeing it finally like pulled into this series, I'm like, all right, I don't feel like I completely wasted my time reading that book. Like, it is nice to have that background info. I still do not like the Assassin's Blade. It was just not a super fun time reading it, but I feel like it is at least being useful to me finally. So that's kind of the update that I have on these 2 books. Yesterday I was kind of thinking that like, oh yeah, maybe I could finish like all 3 of these books in this 48-hour period. I don't think that's happening. Like, Queen of Shadows was so good, and coming into these after reading that, I'm like, what happened though? Like, I think I just have to give these books time, but for a readathon, I'm like, ugh, I don't want to give the books time. And you know, maybe that's just my fault for wanting to read a bunch of Throne of Glass books in a span of 48 hours. However, I'm still having a good time with it, so I'm not that mad. Like, it is fun to just like sit down and dedicate like a weekend to being in this world, because the world that Sarah J Maas has crafted for this series is obviously exquisite. I love like these settings, well, for the most part. I don't like how she writes urban fantasy, which is like, I don't like Crescent City for that reason, but like this series and ACOTAR, I'm like, the settings, the worlds, love it, very into it. So I'm having a good time with that. I'm seeing a lot of, you know, relationships starting to develop, and there's like names that I just like have associated together almost in my mind because I've like heard about them. So when I see them like pop up, I'm like, oh, well, I see something's about to happen. But I feel like I start to like pick up the subtle hints that there's about to be a little something something, and I think that's fun instead of just like going into it blind. But like, obviously that's not an option anymore, so I'm not mad about it. I think it's kind of fun. Like, am I loving these? No. However, I am enjoying my tandem read. I feel like it was a good idea, because I don't know if I could really sit down and read either of these books on their own right now. Although I would probably be getting through them faster. It's probably also why I haven't read like too much today, but I'm glad I decided to do it this way so far. Obviously, my thoughts on that could change over the course of this series, but for now, I'm thinking it was a good idea. You're definitely following like a ton of POVs, because like each of these books have multiple POVs, and it's kind of like, wow. But like every time we start a new chapter, I'm like, who are we following? What are they about to get up to? I'm excited for like, it changes a lot, and I do feel like that definitely like keeps the pace going well. So if that makes sense, yeah. There's my thoughts right now on both of these books. Anyway, like I said, it's like 5:50 right now. Elaine's coming over. I think she's on the way now. I'm so excited. We're gonna get pizza. We're gonna watch The Vampire Diaries, and she's bringing Bloodmarked because we went to buy them on Tuesday together because we read Legendborn together. And I think we're gonna read like a little chapter, which I think will be really fun. I don't know if I'll vlog it or not, but I might. Who knows? There's all the updates that I have for you right now, and I'll probably end up talking to you guys tomorrow morning with maybe a reading update, maybe not. If it is one, it'll be a small one, but yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, so it is Sunday morning at like 10. I obviously went to go get my Diet Coke. I mean, it's not even funny at this point. But I did wake up this morning, and I think I've read like 50 pages of Tower of Dawn or so, and I'm really enjoying it, actually. Like, I don't know, I've just been really interested in what's happening these last 50 pages, and the more I read of it, the more it kind of gives me A Court of Silver Flames vibes. But I feel like they both kind of follow like a main central character. That's like what most of the POVs are about, and it's what the POVs surround. It's about them like healing mentally, and in this case physically, and I just really, I love books like that, especially fantasy books, because if it was like a normal like contemporary book about that, I don't really think it would be my thing. But I like seeing themes of that in fantasy books a lot, and I really loved A Court of Silver Flames for that reason. So I'm really excited to see what I think of the rest of Tower of Dawn. I haven't read any more of Empire Storms though, so, or no, did I read some last night? I don't remember what's happening in that book at this point, but I do need to like pick that up next. So yeah, that's my mini reading update for you. So like I said, it's 10. I have 5 hours left of the readathon, and there's no way I'm getting even close to finishing either of those books. But like yesterday, I just could not focus on reading whatsoever. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna force it too much. I still feel like I read a decent chunk yesterday, but not as much as I was wanting to for the readathon. But at the same time, I don't want to force it, so I didn't. But I did take like last night off essentially so we could watch Vampire Diaries. So I'm feeling refreshed, renewed, ready to get some good reading in for these next 5 hours. There's where I'm at with my updates for you guys. That's all I got. Let's go read some more. So I have sucked at vlogging today because I haven't had that many like thoughts, and there are only so many shots that I can film of me flipping pages, but it is like 3:30 now, and I did stop reading half an hour ago, and I'm here to wrap up the vlog. So I did make a decent amount of progress in Empire of Storms and at Tower of Dawn today. I made it up to page 349 of Tower of Dawn. I made it up to part 2, and then it switched to the POV that I just like do not care about whatsoever, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I do not want to read any more of it because I love one of the POVs so much, and I love the characters in it, and I'm very excited to see all of that develop. But then there's this other POV that I'm just like, I could not care less. Like, I don't know this person. I don't want to read about their POV. So like half of the book I'm like, oh yes, this is fantastic. But then the other half I'm like, could be better. I feel like I just generally have an issue with the POVs in all of the Throne of Glass books, because in like almost all of them there has been a POV that I just do not care about, and I can't make myself care about it, you know? Like, I just can't do it. So definitely one of those, which pains me because I do love the other POV like a lot. So there's my update on Tower of Dawn, and then I also made it to page 277, and I've been struggling with the POVs in Empire of Storms too, because there are certain POVs that I do really enjoy, and one of them is the POV from Heir of Fire that I didn't like, but now I'm like, okay, I need more of this POV because I don't like absolutely hate this character anymore. But the other POVs at this moment just aren't doing it for me. I'm not really that interested in what's happening in this book. Like, I don't know. I just feel like not a ton has happened in the first 270 pages of this book. So I'm like, that's not good. However, I am really excited to see what happens at the end of this book. So that'll keep me going, at least. So I'm excited to see that. So there's something. I do feel like I could have completely finished one of these had I not been tandem reading both of these, but I've been enjoying my tandem read. I don't know if I'd fully recommend it, to be honest, because it is kind of like, you really are just like jumping back and forth a lot. It's definitely a lot to keep track of, but it's just such an interesting way to consume both of these. Obviously, I won't be able to tell you how I fully feel about the tandem read until I finish these, but I'll definitely talk about it in whatever wrap up I end up doing that I finish these. Like, hopefully I'll finish them in November, but at this point, who knows? So at least I made some good progress in these. I'm like more than halfway through this one, then a decent amount of the way through this one, and then obviously I finished Queen of Shadows on Friday, which was so freaking good. Like, why is this book so good? And I can't get into this one, so that's rather unfortunate. But I have enjoyed my time just like focusing on this series this weekend. Like, I'm really glad that I decided to just sit down and read the series for 48 hours. I definitely feel like I could have read more in this 48-hour period, but at the same time, I really do not want to like push myself into a reading slump right before Thanksgiving break, because I have so many books that I want to read in my week off. So I wanted to like still do this, but not like wear myself out, you know? And I feel like I read a decent amount. Let me see how many pages I read, actually, just out of curiosity. So I managed to read 1,200 pages of Throne of Glass this weekend, so not too shabby. I'm not mad about that, especially because it's a series that I've just been wanting to like read the rest of for quite a while. So I'm glad that I went for it and decided to do it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I had such a fun time doing it. If you did, please let me know down below. Have you read Throne of Glass in its entirety? What is your favorite book in this series? Obviously, if I haven't read it, please don't tell me why. I'm not sure what I would pick, to be honest, because I really enjoyed Queen of Shadows, and I really liked Heir of Fire and Crown of Midnight as well. And if you haven't read Throne of Glass, just let me know how you're doing, what you're up to. I'm all ears. I'd love to know. So yeah, I think that is everything. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video.